This season of Cancelled Movie Report is brought to you by the amazing people that support us over on our newly launched Patreon. But you know what? More about that later on. Hello and welcome to Cancelled Movie Report, the documentary podcast series that talks about the best movies that Hollywood never made. My name is Mychal Campbell, but you can call me Campbell. And joining me as always is one half of the award-winning Game Boys comedy duo, Mr. Eden Porter.
Thank you very much for having me, Campbell.
Our cavalcade of guests has not stopped in season 3.
It keeps coming.
Will not stop today. Because again, we have a very special guest.
A guest that's close to my heart.
Wow, yes. You might know him from his work on the incredible comedy podcast, Welcome To Patchwork, or as being the other half of the award-winning Game Boys comedy duo, Mr. Josh Porter.
Hello, thanks for having me.
Now it's got to check. Eden Porter.
Correct.
Josh Porter.
Accurate.
Any relation?
Somewhere along the line. How are our voices distinguishing? Are you going to be right distinguishing voices?
Can you go up a register?
Okay, I'll talk like
There
this.
we go. Well, thank you for joining us.
That's a pleasure to be here.
Are you a fan of 80s action movies?
Yeah, I used to watch them a lot more as a kid, I think.
Okay.
So I've got good sort of rose-tinted glasses for all the old classics.
Yeah, rose-tinted glasses helps with a lot of these projects. Because we've gone to the king of the 80s action movie. We're talking about an Arnold Schwarzenegger project that was cancelled. Yeah. So if you're ready, let's get into Robert Rodriguez's Predators. The Predator franchise is one that exists and is surviving purely on fumes at this point. While the original movie Predator from 1987 was a box office hit for 20th Century Fox and is often heralded as one of the defining action movies of the 80s, every single subsequent follow-up has been marred with production issues, delays, cancellations, and generally mixed reception. So it seems that the simple story of a beast-hunting man has become almost impossible to follow up. Unless, of course, you're 27-year-old filmmaker Robert Rodriguez.
He's just a kid at that point, isn't he?
I know. He started depressingly young.
Yeah. When he just went by Rob. Yeah.
Okay, here's the thing. You might even be wondering, hey, why are you covering this movie? Because there is a movie produced by Robert Rodriguez called Predators.
Correct.
Came out in 2010.
Yeah.
With
Adrian.
With Adrian Brody.
As an action hero. The guy from The Pianist.
Here's the thing. This is a slightly different version of a cancel movie report. Something that we've been dipping our toe into, which is original drafts. A draft that is so far removed from what ended up being brought to the screen as to be just a completely different movie.
Yeah, different movie.
So when was this one first worked on?
Well, I'm glad you asked. So this is the year 1994.
Okay.
And at this point, the Predator franchise is kind of in flux because Predator came out, big hit. Then Predator 2 came out in 1990 and was okay successful, like kind of successful, far less loved.
Yes.
And they just didn't know what to do with it because essentially they almost immediately ran the franchise straight into the ground.
Yep. It was like Predator in the City, right?
It was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Predator 2. Yeah.
The concrete jungle.
Yeah.
that is how they sold it.
Do you remember the start of Predator 2?
Starts in the jungle.
It starts in the jungle, but then it goes out and it's like the outside of LA, and then
Yeah.
it pans up and then you're in the LA jungle. So it tricks you. It tricks you straight off the bat.
It's one of those weird ones as well. It's set in, it's released in 1990, but it's set in like 1993 or 1994.
Yeah, I don't know why they needed those extra couple of years.
future.
There's a couple of years they just really wanted to
a really, really weird choice. But okay, so at this point in history, 1994, 1995-ish area. So there was multiple Predator 3 projects. This is a common thing that we're finding is they're throwing stuff at the wall to see what sticks.
Yeah.
So at first, there was a script written by Sam Park, and it was called Predator 3, The Deadlier of the Species. And it featured Arnold Schwarzenegger's Dutch in a New York during a blizzard. And a predator comes to New York to track down Dutch and try and kill him. So Predators are always been associated with heat. The hot jungles, there's a heat wave in LA in Predator 2. So this would be, again, the concrete jungle, but during a blizzard in New York.
Hang on, are we? So it's winter in New York. Is this a Christmas film?
That would be
Is
good.
this a Christmas film? I think it could be. This is great.
Well, you got Dutch setting all the traps again. That would be great.
Him and Kevin McAllister can team up. So that was the first draft of Predator 3. There was a second draft of Predator 3 called The Zoo.
Oh, I've heard of this one.
which
I've heard of
brings
this one.
back both Dutch from Predator and Harrigan, who was
Danny Glover.
Danny Glover's character
Yeah.
from Predator 2. And they're captured and they're brought to the Predator homeworld because they're the only two people that have ever killed a Predator.
Yeah.
And they're put into like a
Danny
menagerie.
Glover's on that list.
They're put into a zoo and they're forced to mate.
Well, you're the same species, but it must work.
But ultimately, that was where the production was up to at this point. They weren't totally happy with either of these scripts. At which point, young Robert Rodriguez, he had made El Mariachi at this point, but not Desperado.
Yeah.
And he was brought on, and there's actually a clip of him explaining how he came about writing what he would eventually call Predators.
Originally, I was supposed to make this, I was supposed to just write it back in 95, 96. It was only a writing assignment. I was going to do Desperado as a directing gig, and I needed get some extra money. And I asked my agent, hey, I'm just sitting around for a few months. Is there a writing gig around town? And writing gigs are never good. Here, lame assignment. Oh, Fox has a Predator project over at Fox. And my eyes lit up because I loved the first Predator. So I'll do that. You go write something for Arnold. Okay, they're going to try to lure Arnold back to the Predator series because he wasn't a part of part 2. And they said he doesn't really want to do another Predator movie, but we think if he reads a script, that might be able to convince him, So let's just start with the script. And I talked with Arnold, and he was like, we have to go back to the jungle. None of that city stuff, So I thought, we can't really go back to the jungle, per se, without feeling repetitive. But if we go to another planet, and have a jungle setting on the other planet, then that'll satisfy both things of feeling like we're expanding the universe and getting Arnold back in the jungle. I wanted to get him back into a movie somehow. That was my job. So I wrote this script. And it was crazy. It was tons of, I think you read the original. There was tons of stuff going on. It was probably like a $200 million movie back then. But because I wasn't directing it, I didn't have to worry. I just wrote it as big as I want. I knew they'd figure it out and cut out what they didn't want.
So that's the thing. It was literally just a writing for hire gig that his agent found him between movies that he was working on.
You know what I like? So just about that, the idea of luring someone back with a great script. It's like, like, what else are you going to do?
Money.
Yeah.
Have $100 million. So yeah, this was a writing gig that he picked up between directing gigs.
And can I just say, is this pre-Spy Kids?
It was pre-Spy
Yes,
Kids.
good. Yeah, I thought as much. Campbell.
He didn't have the clout yet.
that he could
to
do
produce
to
Spy Kids.
And a lot of these ideas from Predators went into Spy Kids.
So it's a bit of a wild man. But he was writing to lure Arnold Schwarzenegger back.
Great.
They were thinking that we need Arnold Schwarzenegger back. So Arnold Schwarzenegger does appear, or his character Dutch does appear in the script for Predators. Now, I just want to do a call out here for people that have listened to the show for a long time. You'll be happy to know that we got friend of the show, Joe Gaudet, back voicing Arnold Schwarzenegger in this episode. You may remember him from his amazing voice work in Crusade.
Great.
So rest assured, we've got Arnie back on board for this one.
Thank God.
I will actually quickly give some credit. This is from apvgalaxy.com.
You found the script.
No, I found quite a detailed outline. Obviously, we always go in there and expand it, but a chunk of this is taken directly from avpgalaxy.com.
Love it.
So with all that in mind, shall we get into the story of Robert Rodriguez's original version of Predator? Whoa. Just before we get into the movie, I just wanted to let you know that we've recently launched a Patreon. So, you know what? If you love the show and you want to support what we do, it really is the best way to do it. There's a whole bunch of cool behind-the-scenes content on there, and we've even launched a unique podcast exclusive to Patreon. It's called Casting Calls, and we talk about famous actors that almost landed iconic roles. And in classic Cancel Movie Report fashion, we make it real. There's a link in the episode notes, and you know what? We'd love to have you. But now, let's get into the film. The script opens on a raging ocean. We see a pirate ship, and it's a Spanish galleon crashing over the waves. There is unrest. The crew of the ship seem to be in the midst of a great battle. But wait a minute. These are not ordinary pirates. They seem to be a mixture of old school weapons like swords and muskets mixed with new technology, far in advance of their own. And they are being besieged by a force of shimmering beings, invisibles as they're referred to in the script. This is directly from the script, this paragraph. The fight is brutal, Red blood spreads across the water as men are sucked below the surface, fighting invisibles in a glorious underwater battle.
Underwater battle.
Underwater
We
battle.
haven't seen predators really underwater.
Now, we find ourselves in the hull now as a team of invisibles stack a pile of their recent kills. Suddenly, they're attacked by a large pirate whose face is obscured. The pirate tears through a case on the ship containing assorted weapons, and he's arming himself. He backs against the wall of the hull, and he aims it at the door ready to fire. But we know this pirate, this is from the script again, but we know this pirate after all. It's Dutch.
No, Dutch pirate. No.
Older, weathered, but mean as hell. And he has a series of numbers tattooed down the side of his face. So, Dutch is suddenly flung out of the hull back onto the ship's deck, and dead crew are lying all around, and a few survivors join him. So what happens is he's sitting there back, and the predators suddenly appear. The invisibles, I should say. They grab him and they chuck him back onto the hull of the ship. There's dead crew all around and a few remaining survivors, and they all join him. An invisible stands just feet away, and he begins to materialize. And at first glance, it would seem to be a predator in armor, but it removes its helmet mask. It's Wilson. So it's a human being, a man named Wilson.
Are we meant to know Wilson?
You'll get to know Wilson.
Okay,
He
good.
just pops up over the feds from next door. The whole time in Home Improvement, Wilson.
Well,
it's not a
how do you
fence,
think?
yeah.
He just takes his helmet off just down to the bottom half of his face.
I thought it was going to be a volleyball.
No, this is a human being. His name is Wilson.
Okay.
So he's a human soldier, but he's wearing predator armor. So the captain of this galleon ship, he's dragged in front of Wilson for questioning.
This your ship?
Yes.
You were harboring a fugitive, and you killed some of our men. You will return to Earth, where you will be tried for your crimes.
Yeah, please, anything. Just don't kill me.
Wilson speaks to the captain, but his gaze never leaves Dutch.
And again, you know what they say. The captain always goes down with his ship.
Still staring at Dutch, Wilson's shoulder mount spins 90 degrees and blasts the captain's head into a spray of blood, bone, and brain. The body falls off the ship. Just as smoothly, the shoulder mount slides back into place. The soldier, Dak, approaches.
How many?
5, maybe 6. We lost Jolly, Muldoon, Nix, Sanchez, and Ebson, and I don't know if Pennington's gonna pull through, sir. Hardwick's seeing to him now.
That's a small price to pay for what we got in return. Gentlemen, you're looking at a legend. Pines, Vegas.
Yes, sir.
Put him in containment. If he so much as scratches his balls, I want to know about it.
Yes, sir.
Fuel,
Yes, sir.
burn it.
Yes, sir.
So now the three men, they board what seems to be a fighter spaceship hovering waterside next to the galleon. The three, and this is again from the script, 3 metal containers drop from the ship as it leaves. Suddenly the canisters explode into the camera. The flames fill the screen. Through the flames, you see the title, Predators.
That title, that whole flame going out is very Rodriguez.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
that bursting
It's
fire.
Troublemaker Studios. His studio
yeah,
does
yeah,
it.
yeah.
I like
That-
already you've got the big cast of all the Spec Ops people, like
Yeah.
some really
Yeah.
good like really good names, just
Yeah.
single names as well.
Is it Vegas?
Yeah.
Is that, yeah.
Don't worry, I'm gonna introduce you to the team in a
great.
few minutes. But what do we think of the opening on a Spanish galleon ship in a naval battle?
Mate, it's so good. It's better than nearly all the other Predator films already in this
Yeah.
first little bit.
I don't know why they're still going with the swords and stuff. Like if we've got the modern
This is my
ones,
question.
Yeah.
and why are we rocking around with the muskets?
And I do want to point out here, it does say in the script, though it doesn't linger on it. And in fact, it only says it in the description of the script and not in any of the dialogue. This isn't Earth either.
Yeah.
They're on an alien planet on a galleon ship using swords.
Yeah, it's a crazy combo, but a combo that I like.
But a couple of questions. These soldiers, they have Predator outfits.
Yeah.
They're looking for Dutch.
Yeah, great.
They found him. Dutch He's got longer hair. He's a bit matted. He's got tattoos down his face. So we don't know what Dutch has been through in the meantime.
Does it seem like Dutch is sort of in hiding with the pirates?
Very much in hiding.
He's like, no one ever suspects the pirates.
Okay, so yes, you did hear a couple of soldiers' names there.
Yeah.
So we cut back into the film as Dutch is being dragged through the hallway by 2 soldiers. And as this is happening, we start meeting other members of the crew. Now, in classic, I would say, original Predator style, we've got a cast of marine mercenary types, but out in space this time.
Yeah, great.
So I've got a whole long list of names.
Have you got a roll call?
And I'll tell you whether or not you should really care about this person or not.
Okay.
Because as you know, when you've got a big cast, there's 3 or 4 that you're like, keep an eye on them. The other ones,
Yeah, fresh meat.
I'll tell you the name so you recognize them, but don't worry too much
Are
about
there any sexual tyrannosaurs in there?
it. No, you know what? Sadly, there's not. Okay, so most importantly, we've got JC. So JC is the captain of this ship. And he's described as a large, authoritative man, but he's got patient eyes. And a don't fuck with me temperament.
Very patient, but don't fuck with me.
Yes,
I love
that's
it.
how
Great
he's described. We also have Wilson, who we met just in the other scene. He's JC's second in command. So JC's obviously sent Wilson down, go grab Dutch off the ship.
Yeah.
We also have Hardwick. Now, Hardwick is the only female on the crew, and she's the ship's medic.
Of course.
Okay. We have Parish, who's a communications officer. Now, I'm going to list the rest. We've got characters like BUELL, CADILLAC, KNAPPER, DAC, Samson, Pines, Rocco, Gonzalez, Turkey, and Molyneux.
I love all of those.
There's cool names.
They're
They're
all really
good,
good.
action movie names.
Yeah.
So good.
Because actually,
CADILLAC, fantastic.
in some way, like you start to make little images of them already based on the names.
BUELL seems a bit meeker than CADILLAC. CADILLAC quite big and the whole king. Yeah.
big time.
Rodriguez, aren't they in like every single film?
Gonzalez.
Oh, Gonzalez. Okay.
You're thinking of Road Rodriguez,
Yes,
who rode Gonzalez. So that's the crew of this ship. So Dutch is wanted, we find out, for desertion. And as the team returns with him in tow to a mothership in orbit where JC has been waiting, he's now a prisoner on their ship. And he's given a very quick trial of the ship and found guilty of desertion, as in he's sent into a room and the computer kind of judges him as, you're guilty of desertion, you are Dutch, you are confirmed, etc. And the crew has him locked up in their brig. And with this out of the way, the captain of the ship, he calls a high-ranking official, a guy by the name of SADLER. He calls him on a video screen to tell him, we've captured Dutch, what's next for our mission?
Congratulations, Commander. Your recon mission went off without a hitch.
We lost 6 men, sir. I'd call that a hitch.
Only 6? And you captured Dutch. Soldier, you got off easy.
We estimate our arrival time back at home base is roughly 21 days. We have ample fuel for the return.
Hold your horsepower, Coach. Dutch isn't coming home.
Sir?
We don't want him here. He's going to Arca 6.
Say again?
Dutch is going to Arca 6. Never done one off there before, have you? Well, that's understandable. It's a vastly underused facility. Never realized its full potential as a dumping site for unwanted debris.
Sir, this was to be our last mission. Beside the fact it's not the normal procedure.
No, it's not. But then it's not a normal situation we're dealing with here either. You can call Dutch a whole long list of names, but normal isn't one of them. Just leave him in the custody of the site supervisor. He'll be there to meet you when you arrive.
We are nowhere near Arca 6.
Where you at? Shit, Commander. You're no more than a frog's hop away from Arca 6. You'll be there in no time.
Oh, okay, well, we'll reset the coordinates. Just transmit the new codes, along with authorization.
Will do, Commander. The ship will land on a strip roughly 5 miles from the base. Site supervisor has already been alerted of your arrival. According to my information, you can refuel there at the strip.
Arca 6 is a preservation facility. Protected animal species reside on the planet.
Wish I could make it easier for you, Commander. But life has its tough shit times, and this is just one of them. Besides, if Dutch gives you trouble, your doc will juice the boy up with a squirt of sleeping syrup. Just tell him to make it a double. Do that, and Dutch ought to be good to go.
Was Arcus 6 his original destination?
Come again?
Before he jumped transport to seek sanctuary on Arborea, was his original destination the Arcus 6 system?
Your orders are simple, Commander. Get Dutch to Arcus 6.
What do you think?
What's supposed to be it, JC? On our way home. What the fuck should we think?
Compensation will be doubled from the original specified amount.
We accept the mission.
God damn it, JC.
Very well.
Proceed with the flight pattern transmission.
Who wants to tell Dak?
I am to advise you to suit up in full armor for this mission.
Full armor?
Okay, so they've got their mission. Dutch ain't coming home. Now, we need to find out, what do we think of Sadler? Do we trust him?
Mate, I'll tell you one thing for nothing. That part of that payment better be some delicious deep fried chicken.
For me personally, sadly, he's setting up all kinds of red flags.
Yeah, big time.
It's
Big time.
I really like how we've also got in the it was our last mission.
Yep, last
that in
mission.
there.
Last mission.
Oh, we were a week from retirement.
And Danny Glover's not in this one.
But okay, so Dutch has been on the lam for some time. He's been jumping ships and whatever, and they've caught him, and they're going to send him to Arcus 6, but they don't know what's on Arcus 6. I mean, who knows what's on Arcus 6?
Mate, no, I do feel like they've just thrown us like into this fully formed sort of world. At this stage, though, it feels a lot more like an Alien film than
I got that exact
than
same
a Predator
vibe.
film. Yeah.
These are like working class people on a ship, just doing a job.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's from here that we now meet Hardwick, who is the medic of the ship. And she is she's described as a no-nonsense kind of girl. She's got a cold personality.
What are her eyes like?
Ooh. I'm going to say they are...
Sorrowful?
They're sorrowful,
Or like comforting.
but with I don't have time for your shit kind of personality. So she, some of the soldiers, they're giving her a hard time. Yeah, they're kind of, they've all been together too long on this ship. They're starting to get on each other's nerves, and they're kind of giving her a hard time. But she is treating and assessing Dutch. Once she is in, she gives Dutch an injection to put him to sleep, as per Sadler's instructions. And she tells him that this will calm him until they get to Arcus 6. And Dutch seems to recognize that name as he drifts off to sleep. I want to point out, at this point in the script, Dutch has not spoken.
At the moment, Dutch seems like a giant gorilla or something. Like, we must transport this gorilla to sleep.
Yeah, definitely.
Pretty good description.
But yes, he hasn't spoken as of yet. However, when he wakes back up, he's now tied to a chair. And he's actually having his hair cut by one of the other soldiers. He's getting their longer hair shaved off to classic Arnie crew cut. But sitting across from him is JC, the captain of the ship.
You know, I guess when you're hiding from the top brass, personal hygiene is not a priority. Isn't that right, Dutch? Hey, look, you don't have to be sociable. You don't have to answer my questions. You know what? Hell, you don't have to do a damn thing.
Tell me, how long was I out?
You've been knocked flat on your ass for 13 days.
13 days. This long enough to be in the Arcus 6.
That'll be all. Thank you.
Sir?
What do you know about Arcus 6?
I know that the medic cannot keep a secret. If it even was a secret.
Oh, the crew knows that we're going there. If that's what you mean. They're a little pissed at you for screwing up their plans. You see, they were all headed home.
Yeah, well, they can go to hell.
You know, and here I thought that you had respect for the uniform.
I'm sorry to disappoint you. I lost it when mine was taken from me.
You know, your rank doesn't surprise me. Nor does the level of secrecy surrounding you. I respect you, Dutch.
Is that why you drugged me?
Well, you didn't seem ready to cooperate. And this stuff is known to make people more, agreeable.
Yeah, well, I don't agree with you. I guess it's not working.
The tattoos on your face. You want to tell me about that?
Your orders are to take me to Arcus 6, and it's all you need to know.
Yeah, look, there are really only 2 rules as far as I'm concerned. A military man should expect to be fucked over. That is the first rule. The second rule is to pay attention when it happens. And I'm paying attention right now because I expect that something's up. I want to know why you. Why now? Why Arcus 6?
Ha! I'll tell you when it's too late.
Okay, Dutch. Oh, by the way, we checked it out. Arcus 6 is a preservational facility. Something like that. Look, I know this mission is bullshit as well as you. So talk to me later. Before it's too late.
Oh. Joe Gaudet, ladies and gentlemen, is Arnold Schwarzenegger.
He's good. He's on it. He's on it. He's absolutely on it.
Yeah, it's like a big warm hug hearing that voice, isn't it?
I like Dutch shit with the power moves there.
Yeah.
Just keeping quiet, keeping things to himself.
I love the line, well, I don't agree with you, so this is
Not working. It's very reminiscent of True Lies. You know,
It
he gets
is,
the truth serum of True Lies. Yeah.
But I think we can tell from now, this is so little like the movie Predators that we got.
Yes. Ridiculously so.
Yeah.
It's it really feels cool though. Like
Yeah, you
something's
like it?
happening. Yeah.
It does, I think, to your point, Josh, feel more like an alien film. Or was that you, Eden?
Yeah.
The voices. Like, it feels more like an alien film at this point.
Sure. Which is cool, having Arnie in an alien film.
Yeah,
like that is
definitely.
cool. Mix it up.
Well, there's the foreboding of like this place they're traveling to. You
Yeah,
don't quite know what's going to
what's
go on
going
there.
on?
But Dutch clearly is concerned and knows what's
Is
about
the
to happen.
ship? Can I just ask? Is the ship they're on? Is it a Predator ship?
No, it's not a Predator.
So it's a human, like ship.
It's a human ship. So what it comes down to, and it does get a little bit into the script later.
Yeah.
But they've got regular stuff, but a lot of it is augmented with Predator style things.
Yeah. Okay. So they've almost
Predator styling.
Yeah.
Bit of wallpaper.
Look, honey, we got to change this room. It's not Predator style.
What we need is a lot of heat.
Yeah.
A couple of big ferns.
Yeah. Can we have it when we walk into a room? It just goes. Whoosh.
But a lot of their weapons are shoulder mount style cannons, similar to Predator. They're wearing Predator armor, so their ship is kind of being augmented with things that look more similar to Predator than human. Yeah. But it is a regular human ship, other than that. So the ship is now arriving at Arcus 6, and they're all kitting up in their Predator armors, and they land on the planet. And we see each of the team, they're wearing a tracker that's inside a ring, and they're being guided by PARISH, who's the communications officer on the ship. And they exit the ship to see something they didn't expect. It seems deserted. And they find only a destroyed little kiosk area with nothing else much around it.
That's a nice landing there now. Softer than a virgin's.
Shout it, Dak.
Just an observation, love.
Pines carries a communication device that clamps onto his helmet and has all sorts of dials on it. Parish carries a monitor used for tracking. We can see everyone's positioned outlined in green dots. Dutch's dot is blue. The soldiers walk around the empty, vacant hull of a building. Everything is torched and charred.
Been dead a while.
Dutch is on edge, like a viper ready to strike. CADILLAC sees this.
Just stay cool, troublemaker.
Hardwick ventures to the edge of the thick trees. She takes a leaf from one of the plants and holds it up to the sky.
I haven't seen a specimen like this since the academy.
Spare me the trip down memory lane, Hardwick. Just tell me which leaf I can roll up and smoke.
Gonzalez walks up ahead of everyone, fingering his rifle. Something has caught his eye.
Where's the contact?
No signal of anyone else in the area, sir.
Okay, Pines, radio the post.
Already trying, sir. There's nothing.
I've got something, sir. Not a large facility. About 3.5 miles north.
Okay, that should be it. We can wait or we can trek.
It's not very big, sir.
Could be an underground facility, it being in prison. I'd say that sounds about right.
Yeah, maybe we
Over here, Major!
The men walk over from the foliage. CADILLAC directs Dutch towards the others.
Nice and easy.
There stands a huge metallic totem pole covered in arcane hieroglyphs and icons. Dutch seems to know what he's looking at. Samson checks out the pole with Turkey.
It's beautiful.
What is it?
Gonzalez stares straight at it, lost in thought.
I don't know what it is, sir. It's not ours.
I mean, tell us something we don't know.
A relic, maybe. Whoever was here before, but it's definitely a message.
Yeah? What's it say?
I got no fucking idea. But glyphs on a pole like this are traditionally a warning.
Glyphs?
The markings might say low clearance, watch for falling rocks, or abandon hope all ye who enter here. Hard to say.
Jesus, did someone say cakewalk, Wilson?
What, you scared there, Dak?
Turkey reaches out to touch one of the glyphs. Suddenly, the ground opens up in a chasm beneath his feet. Turkey plunges down. In a lightning-fast move, Dutch falls to his knees and leans over the edge of the precipice. He catches Turkey by the neck. Just as quickly, all the soldiers train their weapons on Dutch.
Don't you fucking move, asshole.
Let him go.
Yeah, there's only one problem. If I let him go, he falls.
Don't let me go! Don't let me go!
Vegas and CADILLAC grab Turkey and pull him to safety.
Stand up. Slow.
Dutch stands slowly.
Okay, we're not waiting. Round them up.
All right, we're about 3 miles away from our destination, Parish.
Sir!
Parish is the man with the box. He knows where we're going, so we follow Parish. We drop this asshole off, then backtrack to the ship. All right, let's get moving.
BUELL's interest is growing in the totem pole.
What is this shit? Forget it, man. It's a museum piece. Bet you $20 new jailboys brought it over and put it up. Something to make the front yard look nice.
Yeah, Buell, it's nothing.
Shut up, turkey neck. Hero over there should have dropped you straight to the bottom of hell. Okay, enough. Let's move it.
And off they go into the jungle.
A little bit of banter there, a little bit of banter.
Are you
quippy.
loving the banter from the lads?
It's very, very quippy, but the crazy thing, it seems like there's about 20 people.
There's
all quippy.
And they're all quipping at each other.
Yeah, it's quips on quips.
Yeah.
I'd like a few more gags though, like quip gags. They're quippy, but I don't know. Give it a little bit more something.
You didn't like tell me which leaf I can roll up and smoke.
That's good. That was good. I did like that.
I got big Jurassic Park vibes at the start of that. There's this kiosk. It's all like it's all shut down. She's looking at the leaves. I haven't seen something like this for very long.
It's the academy.
Yeah.
And then they turn her head towards the
giant predator grazing in the forest.
You did it. You son of a bitch. You did it.
But I tell you what I am liking in this script so far is there is just a sense of dread.
Yeah.
Through this whole
big
thing.
time.
We're about 30 odd pages, maybe a little over 30 pages in, and they've only just arrived at the planet, but the whole time you've been dreading them getting there.
Dude, the tracking thing, there's going to be some good stuff with that. I can already feel someone looking and seeing dots going beep, 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 beep. Yeah, it's going to be good.
That would just be aliens.
Yeah, well, pretty much.
Okay, so the group is now headed off towards the nearby facility that they found on their tracker because they believe that's going to be the prison.
Yeah.
And the jungle is dense, and there is something off about it. And as they walk, we see bird's eye views from a familiar heat vision.
Yes.
While walking through the jungle, something comes onto the radar. Suddenly, they are attacked by a large creature. It looks similar to a Pegasus. It jumps out and attacks them, but is quickly taken care of by one of the shoulder-mounted cannons. Once it's dead on the ground, HARDWICK, she's fascinated. What is this creature? She uses she uses a little laser pen, and she cuts it open to examine it a little more. It's unlike anything they've ever seen on Earth, so she's doing like it almost dissecting.
Yeah.
We see that during their trek, so they leave the Pegasus on the ground and they keep going.
Do they know what a Pegasus
It's a mythical creature.
Do they know what a Pegasus? It's like a horse with wings.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
That does not seem a jungle
No.
type thing to
and not
me.
attacking either.
I'm sorry, did I not say something was a little off in this jungle?
Yeah. Sorry, that's true.
You got to listen.
Okay. Yeah, that's all right.
But they continue their trek. They need to get Dutch to the prison. So we see that during their trek that clearly there's a lot of tension between this group. They've been together for too long. And one of the soldiers also keeps noticing that Dutch, he keeps looking up into the trees.
It's in the trees.
And as they trek, they come across something in the clearing. It's a predator. This is the first time we see a predator.
Just straight up.
The predator is crucified. up on a giant crucifix, and he's barely alive. And it's bleeding green blood, and its shoulder mount cannon is smashed and it's hanging down. Now, does this image ring a bell for you?
Yeah, it's exactly out of Predators.
It is exactly.
It's
this
the
is one
exact
of the
same
things
image,
that has existed from this draft
That
to the
went
draft
over.
they got. In fact, I have a little clip of Robert Rodriguez explaining just that.
Cool.
This is an exciting scene for me to watch because this is one of the first scenes I wrote in the original draft, which was the classic Predator crucified. Which means even more to me now because at that time they had already made Predator 2 and they had changed the design of the Predator quite a bit. And I wanted to show the original Predator from the original movie that Arnold fought with. But it means more now because they'd made so many Predator movies and really changed the designs a lot that when you see him, it's like seeing an old friend. Yeah, you haven't seen him since Arnold's battle, and guys in Nicotero's crew had actually worked on the original Predator for some of the reshoots. They had some of the original, designs and molds, and they could make an exact replica of the original Predator for this crucifixion scene, and it's just great to see.
So this is something that was his hope to have the original Predator that did last through every subsequent draft all the way up until 2010, 15 years later, to make it into Predator.
The design of the Predator is an awesome design. Do you know the thing about the mandibles? How it didn't originally have mandibles?
Oh, really?
Yeah, and the guy was designing it on a flight, and next to him, there was someone next to him that was like giving him and going, oh, you know what you should do? You should change it. That person was James Cameron. James Cameron said like, oh, you should give it like little like mandible things coming out of its face, and the guy was like, oh, that's a really fucking cool idea. And he like redesigned
Thank you,
it.
strange man.
Yeah.
Please call me Jim.
Can we talk about the original Predator design that they scrapped during filming of
okay. Yeah.
Have you ever
Jean-Claude
seen
Van Damme.
When Jean-Claude was playing him?
Jean-Claude Van Damme was playing him, but he did not look like the Predator that we know.
No, he did not.
He looked like a giant cockroach.
Yeah, it was a giant like
anti.
Yeah, it was like a pink cockroachy ant.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is, it was designed after a cockroach, but how they did the invisibility scenes was to do it. They had to paint it like a salmony pink color.
Yeah.
Because then there's something to do with like how they would expose the film would mean that wouldn't show up, but you could see it's like weird reflections.
Well, because usually you do a green screen.
Yeah.
But they're in the jungle.
They're in the jungle.
So they had to reverse
so
the
pink
cameras.
is very easy to keep from a green.
Yeah.
So the problem was Jean-Claude Van Damme, yes, the 80s action star, was the Predator originally, and all he was seeing for the first half of that shoot was a bright pink cockroach outfit.
It was so bad.
And he ended up quitting because he's like, I cannot be known as this guy forever. But they did eventually say, this isn't scary enough. It's a giant bug.
We have to change this.
Yeah.
He also complained that because he felt he was going to be a big star.
Yeah.
That he wanted people to see his face.
Yes.
And that he was like, I don't want to wear like this thing over my face the whole time because I'm Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Well, because that's pretty rare, right? Like a full costume thing for a big name.
Well, he wasn't a big name. No, he wasn't.
Okay.
Yeah, this is like pre all
He was
that.
not yet the muscles for brothers.
Was the Predator tended to do a lot more flips and kicks and splits and stuff?
I honestly...
It's just splitting between two trees, stuff up above them all.
There is some footage of this that does exist on the internet. If you're watching this online, we'll put some footage of it. It's
great.
But he has a funny little scurry. Essentially, he just scurries off into the jungle with this bright pink cockroach. But I always thought that's one of my favorite facts from Predator is when you look at what Arnold was originally going up against is so funny. It's ridiculous. It's the least scary thing you'll ever see.
It's bizarre that you can swing, like that was the first iteration compared to where they ended up. It's like, how is that so drastically different? How do you not even come halfway towards the cool badass one we got?
I know. Well, James Cameron wasn't there.
Well, exactly, on the flight.
You know what you should do with your pink cockroach?
Thinking shoulder mount, I'm thinking mandibles, thinking cool little disc shooters. Okay, so we're back with the group now. And they've stumbled across this crucified Predator. It's in a clearing that looks a bit like a camp.
Yeah.
And the group has barely had a chance to ponder what this strange creature is and why it's wearing armor when suddenly Dutch runs for it. He's off. And panicked by the encounter with his old foe. So again, kind of insinuating that he does recognize this Predator, but is it the same Predator? Who knows? Samson quickly grabs Dutch, but Dutch grabs him and throws him against the crucified Predator. Snap! The Predator bites into Samson's neck. Dutch makes a beeline for the jungle, and Samson fires rapidly after him as he's still hanging from the predator. A shot manages to clip Dutch's shoulder before he disappears into the thick jungle.
Sorry, Cambo. Does he have time to bleed?
He does have time to bleed.
He does have time to bleed.
So
Okay,
this predator on the cross.
But if he bleeds, you can't kill him.
Well, that's true. That's true.
Yes.
So this predator on the cross, it's a bit like a piranha that if you put something in its mouth, it will just snap shut.
Yeah, I guess so.
So is it dead or not?
No, it's not dead. It's bleeding and it's dying, but it's not
it's dying.
dead.
Okay.
So the crew is suddenly attacked by a group of predators, and so obviously this has been a bit of a.
It's a trap.
It's
a trap.
And while they're still trying to chase Dutch, but as they went to chase him, all these predators start arriving, and they proceed to have a huge fight there in the jungle. But no one is a match for these predators. Yeah. And during the battle, Gonzalez, he's running and he trips and he falls off a cliff into a mud pit below. And the predators, they seem to run just past him.
Yeah.
Back at the group, they're being rounded up like cattle, is how it's described in the script. And net guns are being fired left and right, kind of capturing everyone.
Yep.
One by one, the team is brought down and knocked unconscious. And during this battle, I'm afraid, guys, Molyneux and Pines, they're killed.
Oh, damn it. Not Pines.
Not Pines. He had the radio.
Yeah.
He had the box. He had the box, and we're going to follow the man with the box.
Yes, and Molyneux was French, and we'll always remember him for that.
Oh, yeah, it's true.
So the survivors, they wake up locked in cells in a massive predator camp now, with several other alien species all around them.
That's all right.
It appears that they are training a group of young teenage predators in this camp.
These angsty predators. This little haircut.
They never leave their predator cave tiny.
They're always playing games on their wrist gauntlets.
Getting out of skateboards.
There is what appears to be a small arena in this camp. And the sound of battle rings out as two giant cockroach-like aliens
Does it actually say that?
are doing battle in this makeshift arena. So yes, it doesn't specifically say this in the script, but I strongly think that would have been the original Predator design.
Yeah.
So yeah, essentially in this Predator camp that they've woken up, there's an arena in the middle of it, and they essentially one by one it's pairing different aliens and having them fight.
It's gladiatorial.
Yes, gladiatorial battles. So we're with JC now. And he spots Parish from the corner of his eyes. And he goes to speak to him before he notices that that's not Parish. Parish has been decapitated, and it's just his head sitting impaled on a spike.
It's not Parish. That's just Parish's head.
Parish is not very talkative.
There's Parish's, there's his hair, his eyebrows, his eyes. So far, this is all checking out. Mouth, wait a minute.
Yeah, I love the idea of that being a slow realization. Hey, Parish.
But I imagine almost like the hand from Jurassic Park.
Yeah.
Oh, you're like, oh, thank God.
Mr. Arnold, thank God.
So, the team, they've now been stripped of all their Predator armor. And this is from the script. This is how they describe the camp.
Do they know what predators are?
No.
But they've got predator armor.
The only one that recognizes the Predator is Dutch. But these soldiers all have Predator gear.
Yeah. I find that confusing.
No, the mystery is intentional.
Oh.
So this is how they describe the camp in the script. The site is enormous. Steam rises from primitive kettles, burning over fires all around the site. Hides and unidentifiable skins hang from trees, drying in the wind. Predators roam the site, keeping their prisoners in check. Primitive spears and weaponry seem to abound. But on closer inspection, one can see that they are highly detailed, and there's an unusual makeup to these weapons. Metals unknown to man.
Oh.
So this is essentially similar to the zoo draft.
Yeah.
They have captured all these different alien creatures. Yeah. They've taken all the different technologies and weapons and things from them, which is something that does somewhat exist in Predators. In that,
a little.
One of the things in Predators was that they're not the only thing being hunted on this planet.
Yes.
And again, so we've got a clip from the audio commentary of Predators where we've been pulling all these, when Robert Rodriguez and the director, by the way, who's called Nimrod,
yes,
they're talking about this connection between the two drafts.
This thing was really interesting too, because this is something that was in your original screenplay, and for me it's what really helped expand this universe even further, and that was the introduction of something else being hunted other than the humans.
Right. You took some of these ideas, even from my old script, and put them in here in a way that fit into your new ideas. It helps expand the world, and that there are other things being hunted on this planet.
But that, for me, I mean, that element, and that was present in that 94 draft, was for me, that was the catcher. That was the thing where I said, oh my God, this is a safari planet, and it's not just humans, it's everything. It's the nastiest things from around the universe.
Yes, honestly, I think the smartest way to expand the Predator world is to have like this Predator planet where things are still being hunted, but you're expanding what they're hunting as well.
I'm imagining there's a version of this knocking around where like the execs wanted to do like crossover stuff. So all the aliens, there's like Alf in there.
So funny enough,
aliens from all these other franchises and stuff.
Funny enough, when you mentioned that, is obviously Predator has become known equally, I would say, for also having the crossover alien verse Predator.
Yeah.
And there is a line in this script. It's technically a little bit later on, but it's not going to spoil anything, where they're describing the different aliens doing battles. And it says there are predators fighting aliens. However, this is the closest you'll ever get to seeing an alien versus predator on screen.
Is that what it actually says?
It says that in the script. It calls out there. It's like, you'll never see it. What an idiot.
Oh, mate.
So the group has now been split into twos, so into pairs. And each couple has a small domed cage that they're sitting on in this camp. So I obviously introduced you to the crew at the start of the movie. I just want to recheck in on how our crew's going.
Great.
Here's who we still have.
Our dynamic duos.
JC, he's still kicking. He's still leading the group.
I reckon he'll be around for a while.
Yeah.
As long as Wilson, his right-hand man, he's still alive as well. Okay. Hardwick, she's still there. BUELL, Dak, Rocco, CADILLAC, Samson, and Napper, and Turkey, they're all alive.
Cool.
And Gonzalez, remember he fell in the mud pit?
Yes.
He's missing. I don't know where he is.
Gonzalez.
But
suspected cold.
So they've woken up in these cages in the Predator encampment, and they don't know what to do.
That must have been some mistake. We shouldn't be here. Where's our meat? Where's the base?
I don't know.
Dak appears behind the bars of his cage, off to the side.
Don't you see what's going on out there? That animal we shot up earlier, it was their sacred buffalo, for Christ's sake. Oh, they're pissed.
Who? Who's pissed? What are those fucking things?
Bunch of high-tech fucking lizard men.
Behind the cage wall, JC can see the layout of the cell that he's in. The adjoining cells, including his own, are situated around a wide spiked metal pillar in a kind of donut layout. Each of the soldiers are in pairs of two per cell.
We've been fucked up a tree, ain't we, Commander?
No, Buell, everything will be fine. We gotta get out of these cages, find that son of a bitch Dutch, hop back on the ship in no time. Right, Wilson?
That's some attitude, Dak.
Fuck you, Wee.
Did you see Gonzalez? Has anyone seen Gonzalez? No, it was all happening too fast.
JC can see that they're not alone at the camp. There are other creatures beside the predators in cages surrounding the camp. Apart from what look like red and yellow mantis, other alien creatures sit up chained in their respective cages. There are salamander-type men that are scaly and amphibious. They're caged on the other side of the pit from the humans. In another cage we have teeth gnashers. They look just like they sound. And in the far cage, humanoid creatures with cockroach-like wings and serrated legs. They seem to want to fight as much as the predators do. Back in the cage now, JC seems to be carefully examining the construction and layout of the cage. Like everything else around here, it's a mix of high-tech and primitive.
These things are not exactly airtight, you know. Almost like they want us to escape.
Who'd want to? I think we're a lot safer in here than out there, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, but for how long?
JC sees something half buried in the dirt, about a yard from his cell.
It's Parish's box. A lot of good it does is out there. It can point us in the direction of the prison.
Are you kidding? We can't get through these things.
What, no one's got a fucking hacksaw for the bars?
Hardwick exchanges a glance with JC. She holds up a finger, signaling him to just wait. A predator, watching their cage, passes to assist with a cockroach event happening in the distance. When it's far enough away, Hardwick bends down and digs into her ankle pack. She pulls out the laser light pen that she used earlier to slit open the pregnant Pegasus.
Holy mother. Where the hell were you hiding that?
She looks at JC.
This what you're thinking about, Commander?
Go to it, soldier. Just make it fast and keep toward the back.
Hardwick flicks the pen device on and brings it to the metal. She watches out for the predators as the light pen begins to make a dent. The sound of unholy gnashing and screeching battle cries of the alien creatures alert the crew.
Something's up.
Okay, so this is where we meet our team. They're pretty desperate at this point.
Yeah. I knew that laser pen would come back.
Yeah.
Mate. I knew that laser pen.
You don't set up a laser pen and not bring it back.
Use it, yeah, exactly.
That's lazy screenwriting.
Highlight for me was the cockroach event.
Yeah, the cockroach
this
event.
Sunday. The big cockroach event.
Bring your Mortine.
So here's something that I discovered probably around this point, where we're at 50 to 60 odd pages into the script here. So coming up to the halfway point, Dutch is not the main character in this script.
No, it's JC, yeah?
Yeah, well, it's kind of like a group of people, but Dutch is kind of a side character in this, he's run off into the jungle now. He's on his own side mission throughout this film. Okay, so using the laser cutter hidden by Hardwick, she managed to cut her way out of the cage, and she makes a run for it, and she finds Parish's beaten up old tracker, as she does. And then she throws the pen back towards the others, because remember, they're all in separate cages at this point. And various members of the team, they're trying to escape, but the predators, they're onto them, and they start attacking. So Hardwick manages to run off into the jungle. During the escape attempt, one member of the crew, CADILLAC, he's grabbed and he's dragged to the arena. And there he faces off against one of the cockroach-looking aliens.
It's the cockroach event.
Seems very on the like they're just kind of on the fly, like, oh yeah, chuck him in the arena now.
Yeah,
like you think it'd be more. Yeah.
Where's the schedule?
Yeah, right.
Is this an event or not?
Because if there's people watching, if there's other predators watching, like they don't want to miss the human cockroach fight. I mean, come on.
Yeah, they could be out, laying some skins over a tree.
Yeah, or something.
Like, I hear we got some humans, guys. Oh, I can't wait. I love watching the humans fight.
They'll keep them to the end.
Yeah. Set your alarm.
So, well, CADILLAC, he's thrown into the arena. He's facing off against some cockroach-looking aliens, and he's thrown a predator spear. And there is a short battle in the arena, but CADILLAC managed to stab one of the roaches, and he is, as it's said into the script, he's sliced from nuts to neck.
Damn, roaches.
Not from knife to chop. No, from nuts to neck. That's the updated version now.
Take that, Shakespeare.
Did you go say like CADILLAC squashes bugs?
Well, so he managed to kill the cockroach guy. And so back at Hardwick, she's running through the jungle as all this case is going on behind her. But there's a huge, muscular black predator on her tail now.
Sounds hot.
Which is actually something, again, not necessarily, I don't think it was necessarily black, but there is the huge muscular predators in Predators,
yes.
Sorry, this is another thing.
They allude to there being like a different species.
Yes,
of
yeah.
Predator.
They're not just jacked up.
They're not just
hitting the gym.
Roided up.
Though they do just kind of look like they're jacked up and hitting the gym. Yeah. One of them is on her tail now. And in the clearing near the mud pool, she hears something coming her way. It's Gonzalez. And he's alive and he's running straight for her. And mud, as he's running, it's flying off his body.
Keep the mud on.
She goes to scream when suddenly a mud-covered hand covers her mouth. Dutch.
Yeah.
He pulls her into a mud pool. Suddenly, the black predator arrives and he throws a speared boomerang. And he cuts Gonzalez's legs clean off.
Oh.
Before collecting him and swinging back into the trees. We cut now back to the mud hole that Dutch has pulled Hardwick into.
God damn it! What the hell are you doing to me?
Quick, get out.
You're the asshole who pulled me in here. Why are you in such a big rush to pull out?
Hardwick notices that the mud is crawling with eel-like mud lampreys, skimming the surface. Dutch pushes her out of the mud pit to safety. One of the lampreys leaps like a cobra, bearing its jaw full of fangs.
Oh, shit.
Dutch narrowly misses being bitten.
I don't know what the hell they are, but they're ugly as shit.
Mud lampreys. Extinct on Earth. These are some kind of hybrid. They'll suck the blood right out of you.
Come on, they'll be back.
Why are you saving me?
Hey, don't flatter yourself. I need another person to man the ship, that is all. Now let's go, or we're both dead.
So now we see how Dutch is coming back into this.
Okay, yeah, okay.
Him and Hardwick are teaming up. The dynamic duo.
Yeah. And so they're going to go to the ship and they're just going to leave everyone else to die.
Again, Dutch, he's known for abandoning.
Yeah.
He's just going to abandon it.
Yeah, great. Yeah, great.
So it does also mention in the script is this a kind of intercut, one of those intercut scenes, as she's being chased by the Black Predator and Cadillac's fighting the Cockroach Man, the Predators manage to stop the others from escaping, and no one else manages to escape.
So jailbreak is lockdown.
Yes. Lockdown, yes. And the arena is almost kind of like the punishment afterwards that Cadillac was sent to. But with that, we have Dutch and Hardwick. They're now making their way through the jungle to escape this hellhole, and they're leaving their shipmates for dead. Well, we've come to the end of part 1 of our cancelled movie report on Robert Rodriguez's Predators. We hope you enjoyed this episode, and we would love it if you would subscribe, be it on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcast, or wherever you like to listen. That really does help us get discovered in the charts. And it would be terrific if you could give us a 5-star rating, or most importantly of all, just tell a friend. We're completely independent here at Cancelled Movie Report, so your support really does mean the world to us. And if you do like the show and you want to support it, why not join us on our Patreon? We have a whole bonus podcast on there called Casting Calls, where we talk about famous what-ifs in Hollywood casting and make them true. Now, Josh, if people like the cut of your jib and they wanted to hear your voice, but also maybe discuss the minutiae of everyday life, where could they find you?
Yes, I have a podcast called Welcome to Patchwork. We describe it as we stare a bit too hard at everyday life. So, all the little stuff. If you bring a packet of chips to a party and they don't get opened, can you take it home again?
Oh.
Giving up seats on the tram and all etiquette around that stuff.
Now, be honest. Is the banter as good as the banter of these soldiers?
No. We're not as quick. We're nowhere near. We don't have. We attack each other personally a lot.
You'll get there.
Yeah, it's more like deep emotional cuts we go for.
And hey, what do you think of the movie so far? And have we missed anything? We would love to hear from you. You can always get in touch with us via cancelledmovies@gmail.com or @cancelledmovies on all of the socials. And maybe there's a cancelled movie project you've always wanted to hear about. Why not let us know? You can fill out the form in the episode description alerting us to a project, and we may just give it the Cancelled Movie Report treatment. I'm Mychal Campbell. I've hosted and edited this episode, and Eden Porter, he's my co-host as well.
Thank you very much for having me, Campbell.
No problem, Eden. And we would also love to thank our amazing voice cast led by Joe Gaudet and his amazing Arnold Schwarzenegger impression, all of which you'll find listed in the episode notes below. Please join us next week where we hear, will Dutch and Hardwick escape? What will happen to the rest of the crew? That's all coming up next week. But if you can't wait, here's a sneak peek.
Now, we go back to the camp. Somebody over there knows where the ship is.
You think one of our own sold us out?
Yeah, I have my suspicions.
I agree something's fucked up, but it's not necessarily one of ours.
You think there could be somebody else?
Maybe.
But until next time, take care.